everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to understand what's using your battery life and taking up space on your iPad or iPhone device. So last time I went over a little bit about the photos and how to make sure you're optimizing your photo storage. This time we're going to look about everything else. How do we know what's really taking up space on the iPad or iPhone? And with that, we also get to find out what's using up our battery on a regular basis. So both of those are really easy to find in your settings, but you may not know where to look for them. So that's where I'm here to help. So let's go into the settings and I'll show you exactly what you want to look for. Here I am in the settings on my iPad, and I'm going to scroll down to the battery section. You can see highlighted in blue. And over on the right side, you'll see my battery usage. And I have my battery percentage turned on, which just gives me literally the percentage of battery life, not just the icon in the upper right-hand corner. What it also tells me is under the battery usage section, exactly what apps have used the most battery. I've been doing a lot of Zoom calls with clients the last couple of days, so I've got quite a bit of Zoom usage of my battery, similarly with Safari, Facebook, etc. So this gives me the knowledge for the last 24 hours as well as for the last 7 days, so that I can see exactly what apps are actually using the battery on my device. Now, at the bottom, it also tells me the time since last full charge of usage and standby. So this is a very powerful area to really understand what is using your battery. Now, going into understanding what's using my hard drive space, basically the storage space on my device, I will go into General, and you can tell I need to do a software update, and I'm going to come down to the section marked iPad Storage. And that's going to calculate. It takes a couple of minutes for this to finish calculating, but it will show you what's using the storage space on your iPad or iPhone. And it gives you some options here that are really quite useful to optimize that storage space. Now, I've got a lot of space left on my iPad right now, but if I were in a different situation and really running low, a lot of these can make a big difference. So for instance, auto delete old conversations. So I do not have that enabled right now, but it automatically deletes the messages and attachments that are over a year old. Now, if you're someone like me who just doesn't delete the messages I get, I just leave them all around because leave them there because I refer to them occasionally. This doesn't necessarily make sense for me, but it may make sense for you. You can also, it'll also look and see things like I have a lot of videos that are in iTunes on here because I watch movies on airplanes while I'm going to speaking engagements. And you can also review large attachments. But as I continue to scroll down, I can see what's using the most space. So TV, Dropbox, not surprisingly, Photos, Filmmaker Pro, iMovie, a lot of various apps that I use for recording videos are using a lot of space. And if I go into some of these, then it also will tell me what's using the space there. So for instance, if I click on TV, it'll tell me how much space the app uses, as well as how much of that is documents and data, and in this particular case, movies. And if I'm somewhere like iMovie, then in iMovie it'll tell me the app size and the documents, and it'll allow me to offload, so free up storage used by the app but keep its documents and data. So one of the things that you can do is scroll through this full list and find apps that you don't use, like Zmoji. I have never used that, and you can see that here. And if I click on that, I can find out it's not very big, but I also don't need it. So I can either offload the app, which leaves the icon on my device so that I sort of feel like it's still there, or I can literally delete the app, which deletes the app and all of its data. In this particular case, I am perfectly fine with deleting this app. So I will hit delete on that particular one. But there may be apps that, for instance, I try out a lot of email applications, and I may want to remove the email application but leave the data there because I may want to reinstall it when they have a new version of that app, in which case I may leave the data available here in the iPad storage. But this is where you can go in very easily and find out what's using a lot of space and what you can do about it. Now you've got a much better idea about what's using up the space and the battery on your device, and that knowledge is your power. Now you know what you can do less of, do more of. If you really are in a situation where you need to optimize the storage on your device, or maybe optimize the battery. I know for me, Facebook is a huge problem for me, and so anytime that I know I need to cut back on my battery use, it's time to kill the Facebook app. So knowledge is power, and now you have that knowledge. So until next time, cheers.